Opacity and animation of points on timeline. What else can we find in effect controls? By default, we have opacity on effect controls. It shows how visible or transparent our layer is. For example, we move one video on top of another in the timeline panel. If we lower opacity on the top video, then the top layer will become more transparent, and we can see the bottom video. In addition, you can choose blend mode for opacity. Initially, blend mode was used in Photoshop, but then it appeared in Premiere. An overlay style is a thing that reflects how layers interact with each other. The top video and the bottom video are perceived as the top and the bottom layer because they overlap each other. We can adjust the transparency using opacity. Overlay styles are mathematical algorithms that use different effects. For example, a blend mode like screen turns the black channel into a transparency channel. If there are black fields in the video, they will become more transparent. We can scroll through any drop-down menu using the mouse wheel. So, we can scroll through the options for overlay styles with completely different effects. By default, we have a highlighted line that shows various effects on the audio wave in the timeline panel, but the same line in the video is hidden by default because it interfered with many Premiere users. You can return it by going to the settings in the timeline panel and selecting Show Video Keyframes. And this line displays the opacity parameter. When we lower this line on the clip, then we will be shown opacity decrease as a percentage. But in addition to opacity, we can output any other parameter to this line in Effect Controls. To do this, we need to right-click on the gray square to the right of a video name in the timeline panel and select the effect we need. For example, we select the motion scale parameter. We can set a change points directly on the track itself. To do this, we need to select the pen tool. But it's not the most convenient option, because by default there is a ruler with a value of 10,000. If we click on a point created in the timeline panel with a pressed Ctrl key, we will turn it into a Bezier, Alt for Mac. We should press Ctrl or Alt again to return it back to linear. You can interact not only with a point, but also with a line itself. If we didn't apply any effects to the clip, then the icon of keyframe settings would be gray. When we apply some basic effect to the video, the icon will be repeated in yellow. When we use a non-built-in effect, the icon will be purple. And when you apply several effects, standard and not built-in, the icon will be green. Finally, we can determine the effects that we have applied to a particular clip by the appearance of this icon.